Hey everyone, welcome to West Coast Muscle Saws. We're looking at a Husqvarna 562 XP Auto Tune. This one's a non-runner, but I'm going to use it in the demonstration. I'm going to show you how to build a tool to help diagnose some issues on these carburetors. A lot of techs are missing what's going on with these carburetors just by plugging in and looking for errors and not getting them. There is another test that you can do, and I'm going to show you how to do that. What you need to do to build our tool is to get a nipple out of a carburetor, and we're going to heat it up, and we're going to seal it with some solder and heat it up good. Daub your solder on it and get it to where it'll seal. Then we're going to let that set for a little bit, and we'll get right back and I'll show you what we're going to do. What you need to do next is to test your little nipple, make sure it is sealed. And I sacrificed a very nice new fuel line. I cut it and pieced in the pieces I need. I want to have some good quality hoses, and what I do is test my test hose. And this also tests the gauge, make sure everything is functioning properly. Plug into your hose, plug into the nipple, and give it a little vacuum test. Of course, we're holding good, telling us that our gauge is good, the hose is good, our nipple's good, everything's good. What you want to do next is we're going to perform a test on the fuel line of the saw with the issues. Take out the fuel filter, plug into the fuel line, do a pressure test, and it passes that test fine. You could do a little vacuum test if you want. You don't need to. Pressure test. What we're going to do next is the other piece of hose that we sacrificed. We're going to keep all this, of course, because we're going to be reusing it. We're going to plug it into the nipple on the carburetor on this chainsaw. Now you see, you don't have to take the carburetor off. It saves you a lot of time in diagnosing these. We're plugging into this nipple right here, if you had the carburetor off, right there. Plugged in. Plug your nipple that you built into the fuel line. Plug into this hose here that you hooked up to the purge nipple. Do a vacuum test. Should not bleed off, and this one is bleeding off. The complaint on this saw was it had an erratic idle. What you're looking for is a no leakage at all. This is a carburetor, just one I grabbed off the bench here. Plug in. You can also, when it's off the saw, just hold your finger over that. Vacuum test. It's not bleeding off. Now you could have several places where this is leaking. You have to do a little research, and the best way to do it is get some little bit of oil, and you would drip it, reach in here, and you drip it onto the nozzle, and you do a vacuum test, and verifying that it's sucking. You'll see it just pulsate, just pull in that oil, telling you that it's leaking internally here, which is an issue. Now you also have some leakage on some gaskets, so do a little more investigating and you'll be able to diagnose these like a pro. Got any questions? There's the information.